Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry to hold you up. I have an announcement to make, a series of comments, an executive order to sign, and a group of folks that I'll introduce shortly. For the members of the news media, we will take questions about this particular announcement. If you have other pressing issues or breaking news or whatever the case may be, please see Mark McDonald, and we'll make arrangements to talk about other things that may be on your mind. But at the end of this activity, I'll only take questions about this particular announcement. I'm pleased to be here with Councilman Bill Greenlee, Councilman at Large, and want to first and foremost commend him for his consistent efforts with regard to the issue of paid sick leave in the city of Philadelphia. The announcement today, of course, is announcing the creation of the Mayor's Paid Sick Leave Task Force for Philadelphia. Paid sick leave for many cities has been a challenging issue all across the United States of America, especially during tough economic times, but it is an issue nonetheless. In Philadelphia, under Councilman Greenlee's leadership and a number of members of City Council has sought to address the issue of whether there should be a paid sick leave requirement implemented within our great city. And as many of you know, so far that issue has not come to a conclusion. And we've had some discussions and many meetings and thoughts and ideas floating around about this. And some may wonder, how is the mayor setting up such a task force, or has your position changed, or what is going on? And I'd be glad to respond to all of that. At the time I took the actions that I did with regard to paid sick leave, my concern was primarily how to best balance the reality of the challenges here in our city, moving through the tail end of economic recovery, making sure that we were not taking actions that may have an adverse impact on workers or employment opportunities. How would the business climate be affected here in the city of Philadelphia? Are many of the issues and concerns that were raised, how legitimate are those issues? Will it be as great as some might say, or will it be as bad as some might say? And quite honestly, I didn't feel that I and we had enough information to support those efforts at that time. And I'll still have those concerns, and those are questions that need to be answered. At the same time, I fully recognize that all working people, including myself, at some time or another, have had to take time off from work for health reasons, either for themselves or for their loved ones. I know on many occasions I had to leave work, or my wife had to leave work to deal with some matter involving our daughter. And many folks across the city are in the same situation. And I count myself lucky, quite frankly, given the nature of the work that I've done over the last few years, whether as a member of City Council or now as our mayor, to not be in a position where something adverse could possibly happen, that if I'm taking off time that my pay is going to get docked, or I might possibly lose my job. And these are real concerns that real people have in the real world. And so I know that I and our family, we have been fortunate in that regard. That's not always the case for every Philadelphian in our city. And so it is worth noting, quite honestly, that the economic landscape has continued to improve in Philadelphia since the time of the original paid sick leave legislation being introduced. So much so that just a few weeks ago, we learned that according to the preliminary data released by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the unemployment rate in Philadelphia dropped to 6.8% in April of 2014. Let me remind you that at the height of the economic crisis, the Great Recession, unemployment in Philadelphia was nearly 12%. The numbers I gave you in more recent times represents a 3.3% drop when you compare April 2014 to April 2013. And it's the lowest rate for the city since May of 2008. Philadelphia's economy continues to grow, and it's getting stronger day after day after day. And so while my concerns regarding paid sick leave in our city are legitimate. I also believe that a full and comprehensive review of the potential impact of a paid sick leave policy as it relates to employees, businesses, and our city overall is in fact warranted at this time. We want facts, we want data, we want information to help us make the best decisions for our city. And so it's for that reason that today I am in fact signing an executive order shortly to establish the mayor's task force on paid sick leave to conduct a complete, thorough, and balanced review of the potential impact on both employers and employees of mandating paid sick leave in Philadelphia, and to provide practical and appropriate recommendations. Let me be crystal clear. I do believe the time has come for the city of Philadelphia to have a paid sick leave policy. The issue, of course, is always in the details. And how do we balance the interests of our economy, the workers, the impact on workers, and the various business interests as well as health interests. And so this is a fairly complicated issue. Ensuring a robust environment and economy and protecting workers' rights require a careful balancing of interests. We want to do right by everyone, those who are creating jobs and those who want jobs. We can do both. We're a big enough city to do big things. For this reason, I've asked a group of distinguished professionals with expertise in public health, business management, human resources, and social services, among a number of other areas, to serve on the Mayor's Paid Sick Leave Task Force. This is a balanced, focused group whose variety of backgrounds and perspectives will help to inform the debate and ensure that many voices are heard throughout this process. This task force will undertake a comprehensive review and analysis and evaluation of the potential impact of a paid sick leave policy on both employers and employees. They'll make recommendations to me and to City Council in a report that is due no later than December 1st, 2014. Then that report and its recommendations will help inform all of us of the next steps that we should take. And with that, before signing the executive order and introducing you to the members of the task force, let me ask the leader on this issue, and he should be recognized in that regard. He's been tireless, he's been focused, he's been flexible, and balanced in his approach. Please let me welcome to the podium Councilman at Large, Bill Greenlee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I certainly appreciate the Mayor's consideration in setting up this task force. I firmly believe that that when people get together and discuss things, it's always good, and good things come out of that. We have certainly been very open to discussing over these past few years. My legislative director here, Noel Marconi, I don't know how many meetings we've had dealing with this issue. So it's certainly something that we think the more dialogue, the better. And I certainly agree with the mayor that I think we could come up with a law that balances the benefits of both the worker and the employer. And but let me make it clear, I am still 100% committed to having paid sick leave, excuse me, in Philadelphia. So I thank and congratulate the members of the task force. I read their resumes. They're all good people who I know care about this city, and I'm looking forward to the product coming out of it. And again, I'm biased in this, but I'm looking forward to Philadelphia joining the many cities around the country, including states around the country, that have earned paid sick leave. So again, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Thank you for your interest in this, and I look forward to continue to work with you. Thank you.
This is an executive order creating the Mayor's Task Force on Paid Sick Leave. It It is so ordered and created. Let me introduce the members who I've asked to serve, a couple of whom I know, most of whom I don't. We received recommendations from a variety of interests and folks who care about this particular issue, including Councilman Greenlee, who recommended a few folks. Let me first announce the co-chairs. There will be two co-chairs, and they are Lisa Crutchfield, who's the Senior Vice President of Advocacy and Public Affairs at the Greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce, and Natalie Lefkowitz, who's the Executive Director of the Health Federation of Philadelphia. They will serve as the co-chairs of this task force. Let me announce now the members of the paid sick leave task force. Ask them to stand when I call your name so folks can see you. If I'm right on the edge of the exact correct pronunciation, please forgive me, and I'll do better next time. First is Chione Azi. She's an attorney at the African Cultural Alliance of North America. Marianne Bellasorte is Vice President of Policy, Strategy, and Communications at Pathways, PA. Dan Callista, President and CEO of Vynamic. One person who is not here because he is out of the country is Peter Capelli. He is the Director of the Center for Human Resources at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School. Pete Ellis, owner of El Fago. DeWetta Logan, owner of Smart Beginnings Early Learning Center. Dr. Scott McNeil, Medical Director of the North Philadelphia Health System and Delaware Valley Community Center. Luis Mora, President and CEO of Fentana. Teofilia Reyes, National Research Director of Restaurant Opportunities Center, United. Elliot Rosario, Manager of Talent Development at Wash Cycle Laundry. Nick Shinoy, President of the Asian American Chamber of Commerce of Greater Philadelphia. Ellen Samakawa, Executive Director of Asian Americans United. Joanne Zies, Human Resources Manager at Temple University. Can we please give our task force members a big round of applause? These folks have agreed to serve. They've answered the call to service, and I greatly appreciate them saying yes. Everyone said yes when I called, but that's just great staff work. And then they will serve without compensation, but it's their personal commitment to help inform our government's consideration of this important topic. Let me thank you all for your service, and the ones here, you can be seated. You're going to hear from the co-chairs in a second. To assist them in their efforts, though, we have designated a number of members of city government staff who will support the work of this task force. And with that in mind, let me highlight Jackie Dunn from the Finance Department, Noel Marconi, Councilman Greenlee's office, James Statari, the Department of Human Resources, and Greg Waldman from the Commerce Department. Thank you all for agreeing to serve as well. And with that, we'll ask our co-chairs to come up, and then we'll be glad to take some questions and answers. Co-chairs.
Mayor Nutter, Councilman Greenlee, thank you for the opportunity to serve on this distinguished panel and task force. We are hoping to provide a balanced review of the impact of paid sick leave on both employees and employers in the city of Philadelphia. This distinguished task force will work in partnership over the next 6 months to offer a thorough evaluation of paid sick leave, the cost of supplying such benefit, but also the real value to our employees and ensuring that Philadelphia is an attractive place to work. On behalf of the Greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce, there are a number of us representing the Chamber on this task force, and I want to thank my colleagues from the other chambers as well as from the Greater Philadelphia Chamber for being willing to participate. Our goal is to make sure that Philadelphia has a robust business climate and is a competitive location for businesses to locate, grow, and attract all types of employees. I look forward to working with all of you who have been appointed to the task force, and we are just absolutely thrilled to begin the process. Thank you.
So I'd like to begin by thanking Mayor Nutter for convening this task force for the purpose of carefully reviewing this important issue. I'm grateful to be part of it, along with my distinguished co-chair and the other members of the task force. Over the next 6 months, we'll be working together to carefully craft a set of clear recommendations that include our best thinking on the implications of those recommendations, to inform legislation to address this important question of paid sick leave. I won't reiterate what my co-chair has just said about the importance of balance from the point of view of workers and quality of life in Philadelphia, as well as the health of the business community and our overall economy. I come to the task force with a public health perspective. I'm very well aware of the challenges and often conflicting priorities that many Philadelphians, especially low-income Philadelphians, face every day to stay healthy, to be prepared to work, to take care of their families, to contribute to their communities. I also understand that there are many stakeholders in this issue. So I'm looking forward to the research, the discussions, the robust discussions, perhaps reconciling some diverse perspectives, and ultimately the thoughtful deliberations of this group. And I'm eager to get started on the important work ahead of us. Thank you.
So, any of us would be pleased to try to answer any questions that you might have on today's announcement. No, they represent, much like the discussion that we've had on living wage legislation, just an evolving view and opinion as things have gotten better in the city, that we should take a second look at a number of issues that can, in fact, help workers and not necessarily hurt business or the economy. I made a commitment to Councilman Greenlee last year, the last time this issue was in front of the council, that if it was not successful at that time, that I would in fact create a task force to look at this particular issue. So quite honestly, this is fulfilling a commitment that I made last year, and I've continued to look at this issue, watch the issue itself across the United States of America, balance the growth and strength of our economy here, and also the fact that, as Councilman Greenlee said, a number of other cities have been able to do this, and they didn't fall apart. There is a thought that should be given to something as complicated as this issue, and I think these task force members will give us that kind of reasonable, passionate, balanced view, taking a lot of things into consideration, making good practical recommendations, and then it's our responsibility, the administration and the council and administration, to then translate their work into our language from a legislative process. So, I think that, things evolve over time, and we should never, take the position that just because I publicly may not have been supportive of something in the past doesn't mean that privately I had my own thoughts about it and a game plan to try to move a controversial issue forward. Any other questions? Let's get to work. Thank you all. Yeah. Lisa, do you need that? Thank you, sir. Sure. Fantastic. Thank you. Should we try to get a, Kate's here, right? Yeah. Can we get the members together, take a big photo right there?